Hey book besties, and welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Nash. I like to read and talk about all things books, and I know I've been MIA, y'all, but in today's video I'm going to go over all of my 5-star reads for the first 3 months of 2024. There are about 10 of them, so let's get into it. My first 5-star read of 2024 was actually a debut novel, and that was Evading Darkness by K.M. Baker. You guys, this book was so good. It has some of my favorite tropes: captor captive, why choose, secret society. Yeah, it was amazing. So in this story, we follow Callie. She is the daughter and heir to a secret society called Rogue, except Callie doesn't want it. She wants to live a normal life with her boyfriend, so she escapes, but at a cost. She ends up settling down in a town called Braxton Falls, where she lets her guard down a little bit, you know? She gets a boyfriend, she gets a best friend, she thinks everything is going smoothly, but on the back end, her father has made a deal with the Monroe brothers where they do something for him and he gives them information, except after they've done their part of the bargain, her father backs out. So the Monroe brothers are like, wait a minute, don't you have a daughter? Don't you have a daughter? So they decide to go kidnap Callie in an attempt to use her against her father. Yeah, it was amazing. I really loved it, and I cannot wait until book 2, which is called Darkness Falls, comes out. We don't have a release date, but whenever it is, I'm there. Up next, we have A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. This is book 3 in her ACOTAR series. This was by far my favorite book. It was 100% amazing. I wouldn't change anything about it. It was actually a 6-star read for me, but overall, I really enjoyed it. The war with Hybern, the craziness going on. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it is book 3, but just know the revelations and the craziness that was this book, I absolutely ate it up. I couldn't give it anything less than a 6-star. Then we have one of my most anticipated reads of this year, and that's Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton. And when I tell y'all, H.D. didn't disappoint. I was so interested after reading Hunting Adeline and learning about Molly. I needed to know what happened to her after her time with Francesca and Rocco, and that's exactly what we got. My girl decided to buy a pig farm where she uses it to dispose of bodies, and it was crazy. The scenes in there, the spice, chef's kiss. This one I probably would give like a 4 or 5 chili pepper, but it was amazing. I really loved it. I'm glad she didn't go into too much detail about what actually happened to Molly when she was with Francesca and Rocco. It was just more about post escaping, and I loved it. I loved that she got her happy little ending. It made all the world to me because Molly deserved it. Next we have A Crown This Cold and Heavy by Stasia Stark. This is book 3 in her Kingdom of Lies series, and you guys, that ending, what the fuck? What? It was wild. It was amazing. I had such a blast. I was like kicking my feet at times. I was blushing at times. I was crying. I was upset. My heart was racing. I was going through all of the emotions, and I absolutely loved it. Plus, Lorien is my guy. He's my guy. He's one of my favorite MMCs because he just says what needs to be said, but he also really cares about Priska, and I loved it. Then I read Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. It's a short little novella set in the world of Nyaxia, and Carissa Broadbent has quickly become one of my favorite authors. It's always fast-paced, action-packed. I love the writing style. This one, even though it was so short, she packed so much in here, and I absolutely loved it because Vale, my guy, and the story was super interesting. She decides to give him a rose that's something unique and beautiful in exchange for his blood because she's trying to find a cure. Yeah, I loved it. Carissa Broadbent in my book right now, and I've read 2 of her books at this point, can do no wrong. Can do no wrong. And right after that, I jumped into The Book of Azrael by Amber Nicole. This book has changed my viewpoint on how I see enemies to lovers, because all of the other books that I've read that advertise as enemies to lovers have not been enemies like they were in this book. Okay, Diana plays no games. She takes no shit. So in this world, we follow Diana. She's from the ether world that was damaged during the War of the Gods when the realms collapsed, but they've been at peace for thousands of years. But she had to make a deal with a guy named Caden in order to save her sister. So she basically became his weapon, doing anything and everything he asked her to do. Except Diana is kind of tired of it, you know? Her sister's kind of tired of it. But she's going to do whatever she has to do to protect her sister. Caden is looking for the Book of Azrael for his own personal reasons. But Diana doesn't even think it exists. Y'all, the one person who can stop them and stop everything, they don't even think he's real. They don't even think he's alive, but he is. It was crazy. Her powers, her banter, just chef's kiss. Absolutely loved it. Then I wanted to tap into the mystery and thriller genre, and that was actually my virtual book club's genre pick for March. So we read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, and it lived up to the reputation. It was absolutely captivating. We follow Nina. She is an ex-convict who does some housework, so she ends up becoming an under-the-table maid for the Winchesters, except the Winchesters look like everything's fine, white picket fence, babe, kid, everything, but there's something sinister going on with the Winchesters, and it was so just entrancing. I couldn't put it down. After I read my entire TBR for March, I wanted to circle back around and read book 2. So I read The Throne of Broken Gods by Amber Nicole. Y'all, I thought I loved book 1. Book 2 was crazy. Diana's feminine rage in this one was just absolutely bonkers. The relationship that she developed with Samkael, her sister, the whole kit and caboodle, it was just absolutely crazy. I wouldn't change anything about this book. This one was definitely a 6-star read, and I cannot wait until book 3 comes out in May because I need it. Since I was circling back around and reading some sequels, I read The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, and it was just as good as the first one. It was just as good, if not better than the first one, because this one was even a little crazier. Oh, I loved it so much. Nina has taken on another job a few years later, except she goes works for these rich people thinking everything's gonna be sweet because they rich, and they all got a little something wrong, a couple of screws loose. And this one, the plot twist at the end was even crazier than I expected. It was wild. I loved it, and I can't wait to read more of Frida McFadden's work. Then my FOMO was getting to me, and I felt so left out because I have not read any of the Renaverse, so I decided to start the Legacy of God series. I read God of Malice by Rena Kent, and you guys, Killian Carson is a psychopath, okay? I don't know why I find that to be so hot, but I do. Killian is the perfect example of touch her and die. So in this story, we follow Glendon. She goes to Royal Elite University, which is like posh, rich British people. And Killian actually goes to King's U, which is like their neighboring university for rich Americans. They got secret society where RAU has the elites and King's U has the serpents and the heathens. And when I tell you, the heathens are something else. And I love them. I love them. This series has just been taking over my heart. But Killian, he has a special place in there. And my last 5-star read of Q1 of 2024 was God of Wrath by Rena Kent. This is book 3 in the Legacy of God series, and we follow Jeremy and Cicely. Jeremy goes to King's U and is a part and the leader of the heathens. And then Cicely goes to RAU with Glendon. I don't know. Jeremy Volkov, y'all, he is going to be the leader whenever his father, steps down or dies to the Russian mafia. And you guys, he's giving. I also tandem read this with the audio as well. So I just love that you jump between American and British accents. Guys, Jeremy I don't know. It's just like he is that quiet, brooding type, but he also plays no games at all. He has stalker vibes. I know I shouldn't find these things attractive, but in my books, I eat them up. So far in the series, this is the last one that I've read. I still have God of Ruin and God of Fury to read before God of War comes out in June, I believe. But the heathens are up 2-1. Granted, I liked book 2, but the elites ain't got nothing on the heathens right now. And Jeremy and Killian, oh, I love them.